Donald Trump's strike to John Deere is shaking the agricultural sector. The president proposes to impose a 200% tariff on John Deere imports after the business declared it would move much of its manufacturing to Mexico. Trump threatened, "If you do this, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything you try to sell to the U.S." Farmers are fed up with John Deere's poor service and pricey equipment. The firm, which dominates the farming equipment industry, is facing backlash as farmers demand the ability to fix their own tractors. It doesn't help that John Deere's CEO made over $16 million 2 years ago, a roughly 200% wage rise. Farmers are having trouble fixing their tractors. Something's wrong, and farmers are furious, especially since they've helped John Deere become a multi-billion-dollar giant while their troubles go unnoticed. John Deere began in the early 1800s to simplify farming. The first steel plow, invented by blacksmith John Deere, changed farming forever. In their previous commercials, the business promoted their tractors and plows as reliable and friendly instruments for farmers. Farmers trusted John Deere when buying equipment because they couldn't afford to make mistakes with expensive machinery. This cooperation helped John Deere and farmers feed the nation. In recent years, that bond has been severed, and John Deere seems to have forgotten its roots. What happened? John Deere, valued billions, changed their business model. The business uses more software to lock farmers out of their tractors. The move to high-tech machinery with software has put many farmers behind, especially those who didn't take a coding course. They can no longer maintain their computers alone. Farmers can't use their bought tools due to a software glitch. It's crazy. It's like getting locked out of your car. Farmers used to take their toolbox and fix tractor faults before all this tech. They felt attached to their computers because they knew them well. But those days are gone. Now, fixing a tractor requires more than replacing a part. Diving into programming to find a system bug. Unfortunately, farmers cannot fix the concerns. They must wait for a John Deere dealer to unlock their tractor. They may lose a fortune in crops while waiting. One farmer said a computerized tractor glitch could cost them 2.5 days of work, especially during planting and harvesting seasons. When labor is scarce, losing a tractor isn't an option if you want to reach your goals. Every hour wasted costs money, and in a tough industry, these issues make things worse. Without exception, farmers must call a dealer for minor tractor concerns. It's a waste of time and money and a slap in the face to farmers who've spent years teaching themselves equipment repair. These folks can disassemble and reassemble tractors in their sleep. They can repair themselves, but current John Deere models don't let them. One farmer said it's a technical malfunction that needs a reset, not a physical part issue. Denying farmers the ability to correct something so easy insults them. It contradicts farming's values. Problem-solving and independence were farmers' hallmarks. They took satisfaction in being able to support themselves and fix things without permission. Hard work and experience were key. No longer can they change things themselves. They must wait for a John Deere software professional. This is a major concern for a self-sufficient organization. Farmers are suing worldwide for the right to fix their own machinery. It feels like a betrayal of John Deere's long-standing customer relationship. This company walked with farmers for years, understanding them. This significant change in procedure undermines what makes a farmer a farmer. Independence, not inconvenience or waste, is at stake. While most of us ride the technology wave, farmers are falling behind. John Deere claims their new policy protects farmers' intellectual property, not locks them out. Farmers want the right to preserve their livelihoods, not to steal from a firm they bought expensive machinery from. If that wasn't horrible enough, John Deere has another trick. John Deere, a billion-dollar corporation with some of its finest financial results in years, is also in the news for laying off hundreds of workers. Here's the kicker. John Deere is moving many jobs to Mexico. Around 600 Illinois jobs are being outsourced, leaving many local workers unemployed. Now, while companies move operations overseas all the time to stay competitive, may be true in some circumstances. John Deere is losing hundreds of jobs, but they're also having their most successful quarters ever, with over $7 billion in profits. So, what's happening? John Deere's executives cited increased U.S. operations costs for the employment transfer. Reasonable, right? However, their high profits show that they're greedy and valuing money over people. This approach hurts factory workers and farmers who have more trouble repairing their equipment. Fewer factory personnel can fix these machines. John Deere's anxiety over software theft prevents farmers from repairing their own equipment. The farmer described it as losing control of their business, and the timing is terrible. John Deere announced this before Christmas, giving dedicated employees a bad way to start the new year. Due to their amazing year, John Deere CEO John May is earning a $10 million raise. No one can blame a firm for trying to make money, but there's a balance between that and keeping loyal to customers who've supported you for almost 200 years. John Deere used to help farmers prosper, but now they seem more focused on making money. Overall, this sends a terrible message. According to John Deere, farmers don't trust them and don't care about their machinery builders. The company has changed drastically since its founding. It's rejected by farmers. They're fed up and uniting to get this issue notice. The right to repair movement is growing, with key workforces fighting one of the world's largest firms. Farmers hate being handled this way and losing control over their expensive equipment. Many farmers repair their own devices as DIY hackers to keep up with their tight timetables. This is no longer a few dissatisfied farmers. This is a major legal dispute that might transform the game. Farmers say they've had enough of John Deere's repair monopoly. John Deere has filed motions to dismiss the complaint, claiming they set the regulations and have power. Farmers won't back down. They won't be frightened by a controlling firm. This conflict is expanding beyond John Deere again. Farmers. People from different industries are noticing how they're treated as cash cows. For instance, printers increasingly require subscriptions to print more than a specific amount of pages a month and an email account to use your own printer. The lawsuit could forever transform our view of ownership. What happens if farmers can't claim ownership of equipment they spent thousands or hundreds of thousands on? Will they lose ownership of their farms? This judicial dispute could set a precedent for us all. Farmers' struggles touch everyone. Thus, this issue has spread swiftly. The average consumer feels that struggle. The domino effect might affect everyone who eats and change the economy. Farming drives the economy and is irreplaceable. Corn, for example. Over $75 billion is earned by the U.S.'s largest crop. Soybeans bring in $51 billion and wheat $2 billion year after year. To see a large business shut down because farmers can't control their equipment seems like a dystopian tale. Farmers aren't the only ones fighting for your dinner, bank account, and job. Grocery prices will soar without farmers. In farming, time is money, and delays will harm consumers, not billion-dollar corporations. Things worsen. This John Deere lawsuit could set a bad precedent for companies. John Deere can control who repairs equipment they've sold, then why can't other companies? Imagine a world where phone and car manufacturers pick who can fix your devices and cars. The idea sounds like a money grab. Already, companies use software locks and stringent regulations to prevent access to personal property. How much control is too much? Companies want to preserve their technology, but they're hurting customers who want to fix what they paid for. Farmers everywhere can see through the claims that this is about intellectual property protection. There's hope. This issue is becoming more visible to consumer rights groups, mechanics, lawmakers, and even you. Awareness gives you the ability to resist. Farmers want right to repair regulations to require John Deere to provide the information and tools needed to restore their own equipment. This is about protecting farmers' traditions and self-sufficiency and preventing companies from taking over their operations, not merely saving money on technician visits. The Right to Repair campaign may seem strange or petty, but it's crucial. This is about ownership, inexpensive food, and letting people define their own destiny without giant companies. Imagine a world when all farm machines are autonomous and guided by satellites 24/7. It may sound like a sci-fi movie or computer enthusiast's fantasy, but it's happening now. It's wonderful to think about technological breakthroughs, but we must question ourselves. Is this a step forward or 2 steps back? Greater powerful technology makes customers feel less important and gives corporations greater control. Farming has changed since tractors needed horses to work, and the steel plow was invented by a blacksmith. Nowadays, tractors have more displays than windows and are like moving computers. Their GPS, touchscreens, leather seats, and other high-tech goodies are plentiful. We're impressed by these advances, but people are starting to comprehend the cost of these luxuries. Not only is this technology expensive, it has unintended implications. Advanced GPS-like global navigation satellite systems, GNSS, steer modern tractors. This technology allows farmers to harvest 175 bushels of maize per acre, up from 20 for their great-grandparents. Initially, that sounds great. As technology develops, firms like John Deere gain control over the machines farmers use. This technological breakthrough is astonishing, a monument to engineers and farmers working together to achieve the impossible. Many farmers call these high-tech tractors drive-by-wire systems. This word emphasizes that controls and machinery are not physically connected. It's futuristic and convenient, but fixing it isn't easy. One farmer who's dealt with these challenges called it a complete disconnect. The problem is invisible and out of reach. Imagine standing next to a broken tractor and realizing you need to troubleshoot the software to fix it. It's far from what farmers expected when correcting farm issues. This technological transition has created new repair issues. Farmers can no longer master their machine, discover its quirks, and fix it themselves. Farmers must now be mechanics and IT experts. Even with these talents, a farmer couldn't modify the equipment since John Deere locks down the software. Since computers control so much, repair limits are worse. However, there is good news. The benefits of this new technology are one reason farmers bought this equipment. This modern precision farming innovation lets farmers plant seeds precisely, with the proper soil, water, and fertilizer. The capacity to fine-tune these parameters makes harvests more consistent than before. The privilege of customizing every aspect of growing was unimaginable a few years ago. The environmental benefits of this technique are noteworthy. Farmers improve the environment and save money on water, fertilizers, seeds, and pesticides by using fewer chemicals and pollutants. All of this costs money. As we give technology more control and rely on its precision, are we surrendering something? More process importance? Efficiency or self-sufficiency? Which matters more? Will we be able to fix problems if the computers fail? Farmers may be supplanted by technicians, erasing hands-on, independent farming. This goes beyond repairs. It's about farming's existence. Is farming still about generational experience and wisdom, or about optimizing data and systems? Farmers struggle with the debate. They recognize this technology's benefits. They now have easier, less physically demanding jobs and more productive farms. The data show gains. But many farmers are also considering the wider picture. They recognize the risks. If they overuse these advanced systems, they may lose control over their operations. Can they claim the farm if someone else owns the software? The agricultural industry has historically rewarded quick adapters. The first farmers to master new methods were successful. However, the question remains whether they will be able to adapt or lose touch with what it means to farm as technology becomes more complicated and out of their reach. This technical change differs from earlier farming advances. The entire agriculture sector must be overhauled, not only plows or fertilizers. Now, practicality and profit are prioritized. John Deere has had great financial success, but what about the farmers? Many people feel left behind because they fail to keep up with technology advances that should help them succeed. Financial data is shocking. While farmers struggle to survive on razor-thin margins, John Deere made $7.7 billion in 2021. Their differences are profound. This startling contrast highlights a growing division. Even as farmers adjust to a changing climate, John Deere's profits climb, especially in parts and services. Parts sales rose 23% between 2013 and 2020, totaling $6.8 billion. However, agricultural equipment sales decreased 20%, indicating a major change in the company's income strategy. Farmers have noted this pattern and believe they are being targeted for parts and maintenance rather than new machinery. John Deere reportedly made 3 to 6 times more from parts and services than from equipment sales. Many are concerned about this business model because it suggests John Deere makes more money from machine maintenance than sales. John Deere CEO John May illustrates this disparity. His income increased 160% to $15.6 million in 2020 during the pandemic. Since farmers are trying to make ends meet, this quick increase in earnings has led many to question John Deere's priorities. Are they focused on boosting profits or on the farmers who use their equipment? The stark contrast between John Deere's rising profits and its customers' struggles has generated concerns about exploitation. Historically, John Deere's worth was based on helping farmers succeed. Over time, the company's focus appears to have shifted toward profit at the expense of farmers. This transformation has hurt both large and small farmers, affecting their livelihoods and the future of U.S. farming. Farmers' growing inability to fund equipment repairs is the biggest issue. If this pattern continues, farms may fail, putting rural and small towns at risk. These towns survive on agriculture. How many small towns could go bankrupt if farmers can't keep their businesses going? There has been a growing campaign to hold John Deere accountable. John Deere is being sued in a federal class action for its repair methods. The case alleges major antitrust violations. This court battle underscores the agricultural community's deep sense of betrayal, since John Deere, once a trusted partner in farming, has been increasingly seen as exploiting its customers for profit. Even while John Deere made big profits in the near run, its reputation and farmers' trust are deteriorating. A movement for good change is rising as more individuals realize the enormity of this crisis. This issue may affect John Deere's market dominance or its ability to re-establish farmer relationships. Both results depend on the debate. This issue is developing, and its implications for consumer rights, ownership, and farming are becoming clearer. It serves as a stark reminder that firms, no matter how successful, must balance profit with the welfare of those who depend on their products.